Welcome to Indie Film Podcast. This week we have a spectacular guest, actor and producer Zoe Kelly, who is known as the lead in several feature films, countless shorts, continuous live shows. Zoe Kelly kind of does it all. And she's recently been the lead on production as well for a coming-of-age drama by LowerGentry Studios called Stockton to Table Rock, based on scenes from her own life.
And from stellar live theater performances to managing a micro-budget feature, Zoe is no stranger in wearing too many hats.
Well, thankfully I have a great face for hats.
Zoe's here to walk us through the balancing act of lead acting combined with being a producer and taking a closer look at performances from indies to big budget studios. On that note, I'm Victoria.
And I am Chuck. Zoe, talk about micro-budget features and larger budget sets that you've been on and how maybe volunteering acting affects performance versus getting paid. Can we start there?
Yeah, great question. Thanks, Chuck. I think that whenever I look at projects that are passion projects that are working with volunteers versus a budgeted project, whether that's a big budget or even a little bit of a budget, I always think of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? And the archetype of the suffering artist that has been around for a millennia.
Okay.
That everybody knows very well now. Yes.
And I got to tell you, you guys, I am not falling for this propaganda that you have to suffer and starve for your art. I think that artists deserve to be paid. And at least from like a psychological standpoint, researchers have consistently shown that economic security, like stable income, it seriously impacts working memory, your attention control, and executive functioning, things that all people on set and actors must have. So I think even a little bit of a budget goes a long way in overall performance and morale on set.
Bringing science to this indie film podcast.
So you're positing this radical notion that if people's basic needs are met, they might be able to excel more in any outside project.
It's a funny thing, like when you're not hungry, you can think about the lines you memorized.
Shit.
When you know where you're sleeping at night, you can all of a sudden do things a lot better, you know?
My God. Has our government heard about this?
No, I'm just coming up with this right now.
So can you talk about let's just talk about Stockton to Table Rock a little bit, because you have been acting for a very long time. And Stockton to Table Rock was a feature film that was based on scenes from your history, and you basically were the lead producer on this feature film. Yeah. And I believe that was the first time you were basically spearheading production. Can you talk about that aspect of basically producing a micro-budget, almost zero-budget feature film, and the difficulties that you ran into that you didn't expect to run into that might help people out there that are trying to make art without any money?
Yeah, I firstly want to say the reason that I did help produce Stockton to Table Rock is because we didn't have anyone else to do it. So the fact of the matter is, and the hill I will die on, is if you want to tell a story, if you have a story to tell and you're not sure how to do it, 9 times out of 10, just do it. Like, start before you're ready, start before you know everything, and take the gumption, take the initiative to just start and learn on the fly. Because if you don't do it, maybe no one will.
You're also here to be kind of a motivational speaker. We didn't know that when we were bringing you on. Thank you. For any artist that's feeling down right now, please remember that. If you don't make your art, nobody else will. And that's really sad. Your art should be made.
Well,
Amen.
Let's be a little bit more stressful then, and a little bit less motivational. Let's talk about finding a school for Stockton to Table Rock. And do you have a story to share there about the difficulties of getting a location for a film that's set in a school?
I do have a little story. Thank you, Chuck. So Stockton to Table Rock, one of the main locations, is a high school. And I didn't know this at the time. I'm a lot of guts and not a lot of brain. I was like, this will be easy. Look at my pretty face. Who will say no to me? And I contacted every single school within like a 100-mile radius of Boise, Idaho. And out of the, I don't even know, hundreds probably of schools, 2 got back to me. Everyone else hung up the phone and said, we're not interested. I mean, it was brutal. And so we were fortunate enough to tour 2 school locations. So we did have options, kind of.
That sounds like options.
It's options. It counts. And we chose a location that will remain unnamed. And 2 weeks before production, we sent over the contract and we were about to send over the deposit we had agreed on verbally. And I couldn't get a hold of anyone. And I started calling, hunting, trying to get a hold of my contact. And finally, I got a hold of this individual's boss, who I guess the individual I've been working with had got COVID. And her boss said, this isn't what I want to deal with. We're about to go on summer break. We're not interested. And we lost our school 2 weeks before shooting began. Luckily, we did have one other option. We pivoted and the other school worked out. And you know, I am a firm believer everything happens for a reason, because the initial school we chose, the one that ended up dropping out, we were going to have to not only pay a location rental fee, we were going to have to pay to have a staff member on site with us to babysit us.
Yeah.
And there were just a lot of other constraints they were putting on us, which we were willing to work with.
You
to
need
have
the school.
The school.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful school. However, the school we ended up getting, they gave us 2 key cards or 4 key cards, I can't remember, and said, have at it, kid. And it was great. And, you know, it was awesome. So everything happens for a reason. And, but there is that time constraint. You know, 2 weeks out from production, we got the writer saying, well, I'll just rewrite the script where there isn't a school involved. And I was like, no, thank you.
Because how long is the script?
I think it was 90-ish pages.
Yeah, it was right around the 90-page mark.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's months of prep work for all your actors, and then you want to rewrite everything 2 weeks before, which, don't get me wrong, Bradley Elliott Norton, your husband.
Full name.
Yes. I am getting it right.
Yes, you are.
I'm not saying it backwards. Would have been able to do that, right?
Yep.
No doubts.
Yep.
But how much, as the producer, not even just as the lead actress in it, because we know how much that would have changed things for you, how much additional stress would have then happened because of, you know, all the changing for the actual schedule and your insurance costs and actually getting food and catering for all the people, and how many new characters that may or may not introduce. And
Well, I think that would have cut a lot of characters, honestly. Everyone in the school would have been cut. So
and
then,
you don't think they would have been replaced with anything else to help carry the story anywhere else?
Well, the preliminary discussions we had, he was going to set it so that Rory was 27, her mom was however old that would make her, and this was like an adult. It would no longer have been a coming of age story. I mean, it would have changed everything.
Oh, yeah, that would have been vastly different. I mean, don't get me wrong, still interesting.
Yeah.
But vastly different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm grateful for that school, endlessly grateful. And it was probably one of the most stressful parts of pre-production for Stockton, for sure. I cried a bit.
Yeah.
I think that's valid.
And then production, all sorts of loops. There are so many loops. And we did talk about one of our actors' wives getting pregnant.
She didn't get pregnant.
No.
She was already very pregnant.
Very pregnant, potentially having to give birth that day. And when we had so many extras on set, it was wild. It was wild. Do you want to talk about acting a little bit?
I
Zoe?
always want to talk about acting.
Okay. So, well, let's talk about the production and the acting. How do you balance what you love doing and what you hate doing? Is there aspects of production that you hate?
Can we throw, I was like, let's throw a little precursor question in there.
Yeah.
Acting versus producing, do you have one that you prefer?
Yeah, I think that was one of the things I learned doing Stockton to Table Rock is like I agreed to be a producer because no one else would, and I did it. And after it was done, I was like, holy cow, I love producing.
Yeah?
Because my artistic statement, which I wrote before Stockton to Table Rock, was very acting-centric, and it was very like, I want to discover the gray areas of humanity, and very like psychological and very myopic in my acting experience. But what happened through producing is it was like my world exploded, my mind exploded, and I realized, like, me as an actor, I'm a drop in the bucket of production. And being a producer gave me this bigger umbrella understanding of, like, the actor is no more important than the sound designer, is no more important than the PA, is no more important than anyone. We are all just drops in the bucket making this happen. And I kind of fell in love with film producing because I just want to be of service to the story at the end of the day.
Nice.
What was an unknown that you ran into that is now a known?
Well,
from the Jahari's window.
I think that was the big one is I like producing. I mean, like, I really thought I was going to hate it. I thought I was going to be doing it because I had to and no one else would, and, you know, kind of begrudgingly do it. And I came away being like, no, I could see myself doing this and being happy. Because as long as stories are getting told, like, that's fulfilling what I was put on this earth to do.
Nice.
How has it helped your auditioning and your acting, having produced?
Yeah, huge impact having the side from the other. It's given me a lot to think about being on the other side of production insofar as if I don't get the role, it's not necessarily because I'm a bad actor. And if I don't get the role, it's not because I wasn't pretty enough or skinny enough. Like, sometimes there are things that are indescribable that casting is looking for that maybe just isn't me, and, like, that is okay. And so it's made me more okay with rejection, just having watched so many brilliant auditions and not having the, like, well, she sucks. It's never that. It's like, wow, that was a truthful, beautiful performance, and it wasn't quite what we were looking for.
And sometimes it can be the weirdest thing. It's just like, yeah, it's just the way their nose moves when they talk. It doesn't fit what I had in mind for the character. Moving on. And it's like, not anything you have control over. It's not anything negative. It's not anything bad. It's not you.
Exactly. Yeah. Or, like, even we all as actors, we are tasked with bringing our unique you-ness to the role. And, like, I know my knee jerks are to be like, in a high intensity scene, I go condescending, anger, and I shut down. Whereas other actresses are going to be more vulnerable, more open, more teary, more weepy. And, like, that's just not me. Like, it takes a lot of work for me to get there, and I can get there, but, like, that's not going to be my knee jerk in an audition. And, like, sometimes casting's like, wow, it was really truthful, really beautiful, but it's too harsh, or it's too, you know, it's just not the right vibe.
If you come across as kind of fierce and they want something that's a little more demure, like, that's not a bad thing. That's not an insult. So you would say maybe producing has kind of helped you find inner peace.
Definitely. odd as that sounds, I would agree. And it's helped me, honestly, you guys, I don't mean to talk smack about my past self, but it's helped me show up early, have a good attitude the whole time, hit my mark, listen to the audio or the sound designer when he says, hey, can you stop ruffling that bag around so much? And instead of being like, I'm trying to act, I need to be focused. It's like, oh, okay, act, do your damn job, and also don't make the bag ruffle. Like, you know what I mean?
I actually heard one story about Stockton to Table Rock about your co-lead, Jessica. And there was a scene in the house that was set as Rory and Shelley's home where the floor was a little loud and creaky, right? Am I remembering this correctly?
Yeah, absolutely.
And she had to walk back and forth, and she's kind of pacing, and she's having this big accelerated moment, and the sound guy, Chuck, says, you can't say the lines while you're moving. We're not going to hear it.
Yeah.
And she just nailed it. She just did. She's like, oh, heard. And does it.
Yeah, I mean, she literally went, okay. She thought for like 10 seconds, and then she went, all right, let's do it.
And just popped right into it.
And it didn't take anything away from the performance. It's like, because being an actor is being an artist and a craftsperson. Like, you have to have the technical capabilities as well as the emotional access in order to perform well. And so it's that balancing act of how do I be truthful and play the truth and also not mess up the sound, because it's very important.
Or throw delicate props around, or drop something where another character is not going to be able to pick this up and run with it later. Like,
Or accidentally hurt my co-actor because I'm not being aware of my body, or whatever it is, you know? Like,
that kind of sounds like a fun story.
Well, I don't have a story, but I'm sure there is one. It's not my story. It's just,
sorry,
it happens. It happens, so.
That's fair.
What's something that you had to learn on the fly during the shooting of Stockton to Table Rock, or something maybe even outside of that was surprising to you that you were able to do it, or maybe that you completely failed and wish you could go back and do it differently, or will do it differently the next time?
Yeah, I think like I had to learn a lot on the fly, like how to fill out a call sheet or how to scout a location. And the number one pursuit that I think I'm trying to take with me everywhere is to be my own calm within the storm. Like, being a good leader and being a good collaborator is being able to speak up when something is important to me and to the story, and also being able to have emotional intelligence to be able to calm my inner nerves, my inner storm when maybe I think we're running too behind, or maybe, all these factors that will pop up on set, and being able to take a breath and no matter how I'm feeling, exude confidence and cool, calm collectedness. And I think that's a lifelong pursuit, of course.
And then did you have scenes that you had to struggle with being a producer and also acting, where it was hard to stay in character or hard to stay focused on that because you were juggling a lot of those things in the back of your head?
I'm sure there were. It was several years ago, so looking back at it, I do remember on the days that I got to just be a producer, where we were filming young Rory scenes.
Yeah.
I did feel a sense of relief and a different layer of presence than having my brain split in two. But I also am... the way I act and the way I have studied acting, like I don't always need to be feeling it in order to give a great performance. In fact, I rarely am feeling it, whatever that means. It's a rarity. And so being able to just like drop in, be present, have my lines forward and backwards and do my job, and then be able to put on another hat. I mean, it taught me a resilience that no other experience has, and that I carry with me onto every single set. And I'm grateful for it.
Right on. Let's talk about Rory, the character from Stockton.
Okay.
And how did you get into that character? Because essentially, I can give a little bit of the backstory here about Stockton to Table Rock. It comes from examples of your life. However, writer-director Bradley Norton wrote something completely different. So it was kind of like, yes, it's true, it's not true. How did you get yourself into that role? Because it isn't exactly who you are, but similar. What was your prep work for that?
Yeah, so the flashback scenes in Stockton to Table Rock are based on my memories. However, Rory is not Zoe at all. In fact, Rory is a go-getter. She is self-actualized. She is trying to make changes in her life. Zoe at that age was smoking cigarettes behind the dumpster and going off to house parties and trying to escape everything. I gave up. I was like Rory is so different from me that I just approach this project like I approach any project. I always start by reading the script once for pleasure. The second time I write down everything the script says about me, what other characters say about me, and what I say about me. When I say me, I mean the character. And then I read it again and again and again until I identify what's called a super objective, or what your character wants throughout the entire script. Then I go through, I do my scene goals, I do my tactics, my verbs, my inner monologue. Then I start curating memories and a backstory. And with film projects, I really like to do, and I learned this from understudying, I like to create a tracking sheet where I'm coming from, what just happened, what I need to know, because we film out of order and I can get confused. I'm not that bright. And so I need some reference.
No, that's not, one, not accurate. And two, also, no, it's really confusing.
Yeah, it is.
Film sets are wild. You're filming everything all over the place, and none of it is cohesive or on any sort of linear timeline. So I think that's very valid and actually really smart. Like, that's a good tip for other actors, especially if they're not comfortable filming, like if they've done a lot of stage, but they haven't done a lot of film. That's a really valuable tool for them.
Especially jumping into a feature film, whereas a short film, obviously there's a couple days, so it'd be easier to keep straight. But we were doing 20 days of filming, roughly. 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, and totally out of sequence.
Yeah.
Even in the same day, jumping around all over the place.
Oh, that's right, because you only had the school for like one week or a few days or something like that. And
5 days?
I think so, and we had to
5
move
days.
it. COVID after the one school canceled, then a bunch of the cast got COVID.
Yeah.
And so the other school was flexible in that way too, where they're like, oh, okay, that's fine. You can cancel this shoot, and then you can come back in on another day. We're like, thank you for that.
Yeah.
That's kinda
Super flexible. But
That's
then we had to
nice.
reorganize all the shooting so that the people that didn't have COVID could get shot first, and then the people that were quarantining could come at the end.
Come
of the
in
school.
later.
Yeah, and when it was safe for them to be on set.
Yeah.
And so then that threw another wrench in it where I'm producing, so I'm having to pivot all of these scenes and the scheduling and whatever, the logistics. And then also as an actor, I had not gotten off book for the scene that we had to film the next day because it wasn't supposed to be for another week or so. So then it was having to get off book for all of these scenes that I had done the prep work for, but I wasn't memorized. Because I memorize as we go throughout the process on a feature film. It's a 90-page script, unless I have a small role. But this one, it was like a Hamlet line load. Like, I'm not going to do it like a play.
No,
I don't know.
that feels like a lot of extra headspace that maybe you didn't have to spare at this point.
Yeah, and also I was like making all the props too. So there's this really great video I took of like me making the badges for the teachers at the school.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm also listening to my lines, memorizing my lines, and I'm also like fielding emails for and like that was my life for a long time, all of our lives, not just mine, but for this whole period. And like it was I'm sugarcoating it because I have time to look back at it. And it's almost like a pregnancy. Like women right after they give birth are like, I'm never doing that again. And then they're like pregnant like a year later. And you're like, wait, girl.
No, it's because it's done intentionally, right? This oxytocin fucks us all over
That's what I have
every time.
with this movie.
you saw it done and you're like so proud of it and how much it's affected other people. And you're like, of course I would do that again. As a matter of fact, why aren't we doing it now?
Because like it was so bad. I wasn't sleeping. I would maybe go to bed at 1 a.m. I would wake up at 4 a.m. I would start working. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't eating very well. Like it was so stressful that things got very dark mentally for me.
Yeah.
And at the end of shooting, I looked at Bradley and I said, I will never do that again. Like dead ass. And then now I'm like, I can't wait to produce and act in our next film. Please send help. Save me from myself.
And then at the end of the shoot, your house flooded too.
No, that was at the beginning.
Oh, that was the beginning?
The beginning of the shoot.
Oh, that's right. But you were basically living out of an Airbnb then.
We were.
While all of your flooring was
You
being
don't need the
replaced.
stability of home, back to Maslow's needs, while you're filming
No.
and producing and
Not at
handling
all.
everything.
So not only am I acting, trying to remember all my lines, be in character, make sure Crafty shows up on time, make sure the PA knows where they're going. I'm also calling the insurance agent, making sure our floors are getting replaced.
And that this is going to be covered and that we are not responsible for this and you are paying for us to stay somewhere else.
yes, which they did. Shout
Good.
out Progressive or whoever we're insured with. I
Yeah, that's
actually don't
so
know.
funny.
Yeah.
we'll just say insert insurance company.
You
now.
There we go.
bleep it out.
Give us money.
Go home, look it up, text us. We'll cut it into a vertical short and we'll throw their logo up and beg them to give us some money. Who knows?
Let's do it.
I
There we
like
go.
it.
Should we talk? I totally skipped over famous Hollywood films, and usually we do that at the beginning. But let's chat about that a little bit. Who do you aspire to be as far as acting is concerned, Zoe? Who is somebody that people should know about that you find as a strong actor?
Okay. I do have a list.
Okay, cool.
So, literally all-time favorite actors will die on this hill. They are the best of the best. Philip Seymour Hoffman coming in number 1. This is in order.
Right on. Best
Coming-
role of Philip Seymour Hoffman. Then
It's a toss-up between Doubt and Capote.
okay, right on.
I love him in everything he does. I'm sure there's a better movie out there, but those are top 2 in my opinion. Frances McDormand, number 2. She just played Lady Macbeth in the Macbeth
Oh,
movie.
okay.
That would be the one. Anyway, she's done a lot of really brilliant work.
She played Lady McBee in Hamlet.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very weird. I don't know how she made it work, but she did.
I don't know why I had to specify that.
Yeah.
Kate Winslet, everything stunning, gorgeous, beautiful. Want to be her when I grow up. And you guys, new one for me, just discovered it in Sinners. Stack and Smoke, baby, Michael B. Jordan.
I'm so glad you are finally on board with Michael B. Jordan, but I have to say, and oh gosh,
What?
Miles, is that the one who was actually the blues player, the younger cousin?
Oh, yeah.
So
I don't know his name.
apparently no experience whatsoever. That was his first film role.
Yeah.
And he crushed it.
Yeah.
I feel like being alongside Michael B. Jordan may have helped.
Yeah, I think loved Sinners, and if you're out there and we work together soon, either of you, I love your work. And I could kind of tell that it was his first film. Like he's green and it works for the role.
Oh, it worked so well for the role.
Performance.
I'm glad they went that route
Yes.
because that fit the character so hard. But I got to tell you, I fell in love with that man's voice.
Oh, who didn't?
Yeah.
Right?
You still need to see it because the sound design.
You haven't seen it?
No, I'm still on
The sound
not on
design
Sinners
in there,
bandwagon.
he's going to flip. There's a car scene in this movie where they're talking about something that happened elsewhere and they get all the audio from elsewhere and play it in the car while he's having this monologue. Instead of like cutting away or doing anything creative or weird with the camera, they keep it really simple, really basic. But the sound design is what
so
pulls
much
you in.
cheaper. It's so much cheaper just to do sound design stuff and get other shots.
No, but the sound design and the score in that movie was 10 out of 10. All the
Killer.
performances, the storytelling. I mean, I do have one qualm with it, but we won't go down that road. It's not performance related, it's storytelling. So I'm not a writer. I shouldn't give notes. But great film.
I feel like actors who portray stories and producers who make stories happen are allowed to have notes about stories.
Maybe another time.
They are.
And then the last one I wanted to throw in there for ultimate performances, I got to give a shout out to my favorite bad boy who gets a bad rep, Nicolas Cage in Leaving Las Vegas.
Nicolas Cage gets no shade on this show. We adore that man.
Yeah,
always.
well, he should get a little shade because the man does everything. Have you seen Vampire's Kiss?
I have not. A friend of mine keeps telling me to and keeps sending me clips from it, like him running down the street just screaming that he's a vampire, and I really want to see that one.
What's the one where he just yells the alphabet? Was that Vampire's Kiss?
I think it is.
That would
okay.
track.
Yes.
It
Yeah,
feels like the
he was,
same
he was
character.
explaining to like somebody, like the office receptionist, like
Yes.
how the filing system
Yes.
works, and he
Yes.
just starts screaming the alphabet.
Yes.
It's
such a good scene.
fantastic. But Nicolas Cage, no matter what you think of him, good or bad, he experiments with how big you can go while still being believable. Because I think he's certifiably insane. And me too. When he goes super big, you believe it. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's there.
I
He's
see
just
it.
there. He's just there.
And that's my goal. He's one of these people are all people I aspire to be one day.
I love it.
Right
That's
on.
fantastic.
Last question for you, Zoe. I'm going to read this out exactly. Indie films are notoriously low budget, which means a lot of volunteers and or underpayment. Hollywood tends to blow a lot of money on a couple of big name A-listers. Given those two scenarios, which situation is more likely to have a better ensemble performance, in your opinion?
Okay, I have a hot take on this.
Okay.
So I think ensemble performances done really well are really rare.
Okay.
I think in general in films, they're rare. I did just see Eddington, beautiful ensemble performance. Pulp Fiction stands out as another beautiful.
Okay, yeah.
So we got indie, we got studio. However, I do want to say, in my opinion, TV shows, especially as seasons progress, that's where you can get some really juicy ensemble performances because the actors have more time. They have more time to get to know their fellow actors. They have more time to get to know their characters and their colleagues' characters.
And sort of why a stage play might have a better experience and a better likelihood of an ensemble working well together because they've been rehearsing for months and months and months together.
Yes.
Okay.
I just think when you look at Breaking Bad, you're like, no, that is an ensemble performance that I have not seen done in a feature film yet.
That's
Or even you guys are rewatching Deadwood. That's a great ensemble.
That is
for
very
sure.
generous of you to say rewatching for me. I have never seen it before.
I was trying.
I appreciate you
To
trying
smooth-
to protect me.
Yeah, I
Thank
was.
you. Thank you.
Great show.
I'm trying to catch up on popular media. I'm a few decades behind.
It's a great show, though. I wish I were you being able to rewatch it, or The Wire, right? The Wire, another great ensemble. So I think the format of a TV lends itself a bit stronger to an ensemble performance.
So for an indie filmmaker, then you're saying in your opinion, it would be worth it for them to pay a little bit more for one actor and then save money on some of the other ones?
Because you're only going to get so good of an ensemble performance anyway. I'm kidding.
Well, I think Well, that's a great question. I think that's really multi-layered. I think as an indie film producer, there are benefits to paying a little more for named talent because then when you go to market and distribute or even go to festivals, you're going to get more attention and more recognition than if you don't.
Yeah.
However, not every named talent is made the same. Like, God bless Brad Pitt and good fortune on his great success in his career. However, Brad Pitt and Philip Seymour Hoffman are not the same. Period.
One's dead.
One's dead.
No.
Sadly, the greatest of all time.
Careful,
is
this doesn't
dead.
come out for a few weeks and we've already had 2 celebrity deaths. I don't think we should
Oh,
be
yeah,
talking
that's
about the
true.
third one that's going to drop.
Yeah.
I just think we should wait. I don't think we should talk about it.
But Philip is dead.
Yes.
Yeah, but we're
But
saying-
the implication is that the other one isn't, and there's going to be another celeb. They always go in 3s.
No,
so.
not Brad. It's not your time. I love you, Brad. You're beautiful. You're just not Philip
He
Seymour Hoffman.
is beautiful,
But
though.
Philip Seymour Hoffman didn't have abs, so we all have our strengths.
That's true. See, because they would be turned down for different roles for very different reasons.
See facts.
There we go. It's
Yes.
not you as an actor. It's
not
just what
you.
the role needs.
Awesome.
It's them.
Full circle. Well, with that, shall we have a succinct farewell?
Sounds wonderful.
Excellent. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.